Yeah, going after the low-hanging fruit is definitely a lot easier, and capital. But as you can see, he started with no money, and it took $5,000 to get into that opportunity. And at the end of the day, he moved forward to get it done. Les, you did mention one thing. You said you put it in your name, and of course, we always use LLCs, guys, to put property. We never take property in our own personal name. It's always done in LLCs, but of course, that was BT before Terry. Okay. So, what does a good deal look like? That's the question. We talked about this a little bit, and I want to go ahead and pull it into detail. It's below market. We want those deep discounts. It's equity at closing. That's the paper that most people tell you that you get on the buy, right? You get money on the buy. That's what they tell you. Well, all that is equity. And we know that when the bubble bursts, what happens to your equity? That bursts too. It goes away into thin air. So equity at closing is great, but we also want to exercise the opportunity of great terms. So when we get great terms, we even get more equity, we get more discount, we get more opportunity. And great terms are super sweet. Now there's one other key element, which is huge upside. And a lot of people, again, they lose focus on huge upside. Huge upside means, like I said before, double, triple rule. Double, triple. But what about a 10 time? What about if we can get in there and 10 time your return? I mean, that's huge. Les, what, at the end of the day, what was that whole property worth? The property you were speaking of, the condo development, what was it worth? Okay, and what about the whole total project? What was the total return on the project, the total value? You remember? Return on investment, correct. Right. Okay, that's not bad. And like you said, I mean, he made a mil plus and got a condo free and clear. And it's not bad, but again, focusing on the low-hanging fruit, doing the deals quickly, we can go ahead and turn this thing into a 10, 20 time upside. Now, I've broken down this whole system, so we basically focus on two types of property. And there's all types of different property, but we're focusing on two types of property, ugly and pretty. And in reality, that's it, ugly and pretty. Regardless of what type the property is, we got ugly, we got pretty. Ugly property, defined in my world, are problem properties. And problem properties, again, are highly vacant, low rents, and rundown condition. Highly vacant, low rents, and rundown condition. And the pretty property are motivated owners. Now, the property could be in pristine condition. You guys seen pictures of the Texas apartment? That's pristine condition. I have other pictures of the self-storage I'll share with you later. And I got several other deals to walk you through, too. But motivated owners are huge because with this $1 trillion in debt that's coming to, there's going to be a lot of property that goes into foreclosure. Now, the foreclosure process in residential, it's a lot like commercial. All right, it's a lot like commercial. The opportunities are going to be there, you know. And you get the notice of default at a 90-day mark, notice of default. And after that notice of default, there's a lis pendens, literally means lawsuit pending. And then it actually goes back to the bank, which is an REO, and they try to sell it at an auction. So after foreclosure process is done, then it goes to REO, real estate owned. You know, I love doing these live trainings because no two are the same, and it's great that I get tons of feedback. Just like when Josh was up here, because he was saying, so in retrospect, REOs are more difficult. It's not that they're more difficult, it's just that they have to meet a different criteria. We have to be able to buy it cheap, and there's got to be a huge upside, and it can't be a problematic property when you're buying it for 3.2 and it's going to take another 3.2, so you have 6.4 inside the thing and it's worth 8.2 at the end of the day. That doesn't work. What we need to do is see that there's huge amounts of opportunity there and buy it really, really cheap from a really, really aggressive lender. And these lenders, all day long, are extremely aggressive to get rid of these properties. And then we have health issues, and we talked about that as well. People hold property for so long, they wait too long to cash in their chips. And then, of course, there's health issues. And feuding partners. I'll tell you now, feuding partners, I love feuding partners. That's my favorite. Do you guys remember what I said about the apartment deal? The way we're taking it down? That's what it's called when we close on it, you take it down. We're not actually taking the building down. When we move forward on a project and take it down like the one out there in Texas, the apartment building, we are going to have a purchase and sale, which was already sent over for my review. I'll be reviewing it tonight. And that purchase and sale agreement has something called an operating agreement. Okay? That operating agreement, also known as the OA, that spells out percentages on who gets what. So the student will have their percentage. The seller, we already know, has their 10%. My entity will have a percentage. And if we pull in management and give them a percentage, they'll have a percentage. And it all is spelled out in the operating agreement. It's very simple. Okay? Now, there's something called managing member inside of that agreement. And the managing member holds control. It's usually 51% or more. And, of course, that would be my entity. But if you were to bring the project forward and help facilitate financing, we're going to talk about that later, then I wouldn't mind giving you controls. But I have to make sure that you're capable of doing so. But for this agreement, there's also going to be a partnership agreement. And that's what I'm getting to for feuding partners. This partnership agreement will spell out exactly who does what. And it's going to basically say this individual, she is passive, meaning she's not doing anything. She does not have control. She's going to be on the side waiting for this project to get to its highest and best use until she gets cashed out at 36 months. All right? So because of that, partnership agreements are very important. I've been with the same woman for over a decade. And I'll tell you right now, it all comes down to relationships, both business and personal. It's very, very important to understand that most relationships fall apart due to lack of clarity, lack of responsibility, lack of effort, lack of action, and lack of understanding. But if all that is in place, relationships are very easy because we know who's doing what and what's expected from the other person. So there's no surprises. You guys understand that? Yeah. And she wears the pants and I'm fine with it. It was a joke. Okay. With feuding partners, guys, I love feuding partners. With these types of properties, seriously, you can get in, you can get out, and you can get rich.